enjoyed them that I kind of had like a limit in my house of like how many I could have. This is so embarrassing. But I would sometimes go to the closet like after I already like had a notebook cookie pie, and I would just like sniff them. I knew I wasn't supposed to have too many, but I just like loved them so much, you know. So ask me later about my whole like food journey. It's interesting. But now I'm at the stage of wellness where I have everything. Like I never thought I would ever need that, but it's a thing. You know, things change. So shout out to all of you who are here today, no matter what stage of wellness you are in, your physical, your emotional, your mental, and spiritual wellness. This is going to be a day for us to celebrate again and walk alongside each other on that journey. I'd like to make a shout out to anybody who is in the healthcare field. If you could please stand up. Any physical, mental, nurses, doctors. Thank you for all that you do. And a super shout out, and I'm not going to make you stand up for this because maybe it would be all of us. Shout out to you if you are here today, but you're hurting. Because it takes, yeah, that's right, let's do it. Yeah, that's right. Because that's the real hero, and not even if you're here physically, because there are some that are watching online that cannot be here physically, that really want to be here. So shout out to all of those women. You know, the wellness industry over the last decade has become a very profitable industry. And it is something that the wellness industry, I'm really grateful to see how much emphasis has been placed on it, even since the pandemic. There has been so much that has been realized about mental health, and I'm very passionate about it. I currently work as a school psychologist in Roanoke County Schools, and it's something I'm super passionate about, starting mental health awareness at a young age. In 2020, there is $4.2 trillion of revenue raised in wellness. In 2022, that number jumped up to $5.6 trillion. Guess what the proposal is of how much revenue will come from the wellness industry by 2027? Anyone guess? Okay. 8.5 trillion. Okay. So this is an area that clearly we are investing in the world. We see the need for. Our world is desperate to get well. In 2019 to 2020, before the pandemic began, 20% of adults were experiencing significant mental illness that they reported. 20%. And now 1 in 10 youth are experiencing depression to the extent that it significantly impairs their life. 1 in 10. Yet only 1 mental health worker for every 350 people. We need help. We are the most technologically advanced and connected that we've ever been in all of history. And yet the recent Surgeon General put out a statement in 2023 that we are in an epidemic of loneliness. This was a wild thing that he stated from the research, that the reduction in lifespan, sorry, I'm just going to depress us all as we get started, but it's real. So the reduction in lifespan that is going on because of isolation and feelings of loneliness, he equated it to the same pattern that is for somebody who is smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That is the pattern of lifespan reduction that's happening across our world because of this. Our world is desperate to get well, in mind, in body, and spirit. So, what does the Bible say about wellness? Is it something separate? Is it something that is actually in the scriptures? That's what we're going to talk about today, is what the Bible actually says about wellness. We all know that there is a mind, body, and even spirit connection. You know it because when something's bothering you, where do you feel it? In your gut, in your heart, right? Maybe you get a headache. Like it's crazy. Like our body lets us know. Some of us have autoimmune disorders. Literally, your body is telling you when you're stressed, and it affects your body. We even get sick sometimes when we're feeling something heavy emotionally. Well, the Bible actually addresses this. And in the book of Proverbs, there are so many cool scriptures that really show this kind of mind, body, spirit connection. I'm just going to reference these for now. In Proverbs 14, verse 30, it says that a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Ooh, that's a deep one. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Don't you just sometimes even feel it physically when someone has expressed gracious words to you? It's like a weight lifts off your shoulders and you feel it in your body. Proverbs 3 through chapter 4, all of those chapters, they really show the connection between wisdom and wellness. And in verse 22 of chapter 4, it says that wisdom is life to those who find it and health to one's whole body. Don't be mistaken. There's not a promise that there won't be physical hardship. We are human. We all know that there are frailty in our bodies. But there is an amazing ability to bring wellness in a whole sense when we are looking to the scriptures for our guidance. The scripture, or the word that's used for wellness in the scriptures is one that is still a frequent Jewish greeting, and it's one that you might be very familiar with. It is shalom. And what is the word you typically associate with shalom? Peace, right? And it's kind of where we get in our modern day churches. Some of them say, peace be with you and also with you, because that is the Jewish greeting of shalom. Somebody's kind of checking in, how are you? How is your peace? And they say back to you, shalom. You're checking with each other on each other's peace. But actually, so I'm just grabbing this a little closer. This is okay. Thank you. Okay. So shalom is peace, but it's a little deeper than that. It's whole of life wellness. It is taking what is broken and move mics. Okay. How's this? I thought I'm gonna ruin it if I move it. How am I, Cliff? You guys can hear me? Okay. All right. So shalom is this your whole self coming to completeness and being at peace. It's not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of something so much greater in the replacement of it. In the historical Jewish times, what they would refer to shalom, just in kind of their everyday life, is a big completed stone wall. You can imagine like a stone wall with lots of intricate bricks kind of come together, but made with stones of different pieces, that they're all placed together without any of them missing and without any gaps. Just a beautiful stone wall made up of many pieces. Life is complex, isn't it? And if any one of these pieces is misaligned or is missing, it disrupts disrupts our whole shalom. Another illustration in the scriptures is when rival kingdoms were fighting one another. Their shalom was disrupted. But shalom was not restored until, it wasn't just when they stopped fighting. It was when they actually started working to each other's benefit. And that is how you knew that there was true shalom. I think about it, if any of you have kids. I'm just gonna, you know what I mean. There's no shalom in the house, right? When kids are fighting. Like, it is the thing that just irks me the most, is when my kids are fighting. But the beauty, even if it is for 2 minutes of the day. When they are working for each other and like doing something together and enjoying it, like, it is the most beautiful, wonderful thing. And you just want to celebrate it. That is shalom. It's things that have been broken that are coming back together and working for each other's benefit. So we all know the world is on this quest for wellness, right? We're all putting so much money into it. We're all trying to figure out our own wellness. But how does our quest for wellness compare to this biblical idea of shalom? I love the images in the Jewish historical lifestyle, because that idea of the stone wall, it's a bunch of individual, unique pieces coming together, right? This isn't just a uniform one wall. This is a bunch of different individuals coming together. And they're coming together to thrive. That's our theme today, together we thrive, right? And I love that because it's not uniformity, it's unity. And one part I do think about wellness in America and just the Western view on it is that we have often taken the we out of wellness. Wellness can be a very individualistic pursuit. It can be, what do I need to do for my own physical, my own mental, my own spiritual. And it's even in the name, right? We call it self-care. That's what wellness sort of is in America. And don't get me wrong, that's an absolute, such an important part of it. Because when you think about that stone wall, you have to be able to come as your piece to bring to that wall. And if your piece is broken down, it's hard to offer that, isn't it? But the biblical shalom and wellness is so much bigger than just ourselves. It's so much more about how we come together with God and with one another. There are so many amazing resources out there about self-awareness, isn't there? I mean, you can find out anything you want to figure out about yourself out there. There's a personality type for it. Thank you. And I think I have ADHD. I'm sorry, guys. I'm coming to terms with it. All right. Thank you. That's awesome. I completely forgot what I was talking about. Okay, yeah, Enneagrams. Okay, so you can find out absolutely anything you want to find out about yourself, can't you? And don't get me wrong, I'm the first to sign up. If there's any sort of personality test, I love that stuff. I will talk about it all day long. Actually, funny story, how I first started talking to my husband, John, is we were on a plane trip to India, and I was had just finished all these psychology classes, and I was like, hey, can you draw me a picture of your family? So that's how poor guy started a relationship with me. Having me analyze him and all that. But I think also there's so many great resources out there about identifying problems in relationships, right? You can, I feel flooded all the time on social media and books is how to identify toxic relationships, set up boundaries. when to say goodbye to things, removing ourselves, and please don't mishear what I'm saying. There is absolutely a place for that. And as I would say, kind of a codependent type in recovery myself, there's a place for all of that. But what I don't think our society is great at is teaching us actually how to restore broken relationships. We're great at identifying what's wrong and letting get away from it, but learning how to actually bring back that biblical shalom in our families and even in our churches, we're not great at. And honestly, we all haven't been great at it, especially the pandemic kind of highlighted it. But that's so much harder. When I look at the biblical view of shalom, it's so much more about not just me, myself, and I, but the we in wellness. The wholeness of self, also in relation to other people and with God. If you look at the word wellness, if we trade out the we and we only define it with the I, what word are we stuck with? Sometimes we're still stuck with illness. We can analyze ourselves forever. And if we don't actually deal with the hard things that are causing us distress in our relationships, we might stay stuck in that cycle. I've been there before, for a long time, for years. So, yes, we need to take all of those great resources that are coming at us, but to truly have that biblical shalom that lifts those weight off our shoulders, that brings that joy to our heart, healing to our bones, we have to learn how to deal with relationships, and we need God's help to do that. Ephesians 4, if you have a Bible or phone, you can flip to that. Ephesians 4, verse 15 is our reading scripture today. How are we doing out there? Some of you thought you were just coming to pickleball and, dancing. Getting a little deep here. I know. No, it's going to be awesome. So Ephesians 4, verse 15 to 16. This passage talks about shalom in the body of Christ. Peace in the churches. And it talks about being able to get away from being tossed around by every wind and wave of teaching and even just the deceitful scheming that can happen. And in verse 15, it tells us how we can find that. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of Him who is the head. That is Christ. From Him the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I think so much about that stone wall there, that each piece is together and supporting. But also, it's this body. You think of your unique body and how many tiny little ligaments are so important, and you don't even notice them until they're torn or pulled. But every part working together becomes that mature body. I love how it discusses here that relationships that are marked by both speaking the truth, but in love. We need that so much in our life, to be able to have families and friendships and churches that we can truly speak truth to each other, but in love. And that we can work together and support each other. This event took so many hands to put in. Thank you, everyone. Everyone made this event possible. Because if you were here setting up, or you're running a station, or you got your kids somewhere so you could get here, you've worked to make this happen. And it's so encouraging. So we see this beautiful picture of what it looks like to thrive together. But that's sort of like the happy ending. you have to rewind back a little bit in the chapter to see how we actually get there, okay? So in chapter 4, rewind back in verse 2. I'm just going to say I don't think this is going to be a best-selling title in America for wellness, okay? I just have a feeling. Be completely humble and gentle. All right. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. This is how we are going to have shalom. This is how we're going to have the kind of relationships that can be totally unique, people that see things very differently from each other, fit together under the unity under Christ. It is hard work, but it is worth it. It is so worth it. And as we wrap up today, I'd like us just to think about, how is our shalom? How is it personally for you right now? Do you personally have anything that you feel like is just out of alignment right now, that's causing everything else to kind of rock and shake? Is there a relationship in your life that maybe popped in your mind and you're like, oh, I'm not going to think about that one right now? That's usually how I know that's the one that I need to go towards and pray about. If there's anything that comes to your mind today that is missing from that shalom, that whole of life wellness, think about one step that you can take towards that sense of peace within God, with you and God, within yourself, and with other people. And if you're here today and you're like, that sounds great, but I have no idea where to start with that, that's okay. We've all been there, and probably we're all there with you today. But there are so many people that are craving that kind of fellowship even right here. So today I want to encourage you, soak up the fun, but also find somebody today, maybe from this event, that could walk alongside you and help support you. We need each other. As Hazel mentioned in the welcome, women especially, we're wired for that connection, and we need each other to help me do that. So I hope you guys have an amazing time today. I'm really looking forward to everything we're going to be doing. I'm going to give a little bit of an orientation now on what's happening. If you have not signed a waiver, we're asking that all you really need to make sure you do is put your signature on there. You are saying you are allowing yourself to participate in these physical activities, and I already prayed that no one will get hurt today. So please join me in that prayer. But we're going to be having options of activities now. So the way that this is going to go, you see on your program if you get lost of what's happening, we're going to have a brief fellowship break coming up to get you to your first activity. Fellowship break is a great time. You find out where you're going, and if you want to stop in, we have in the multi-purpose room over here with all the pink tables, there's some healthy snacks that some ladies have set up for us, so stop in, grab a snack, and then get to your first activity. We are going to have 2 rotations of activities, and we have 4 activities to choose from, okay? So if you get to an activity and there's like 20 people there, and you're like, oh man, you can come back for the second round, okay? So our activities we're going to be choosing from, I'm going to have whoever's doing the station to stand up. So the first station we're going to have is rebound or trampoline, and Miss Paula is going to be leading us in that. And she can tell you all about it. She's got all the facts of like how amazing it is for your health. It is so much fun. So that will be in the dance room, which is also this direction, okay? So rebound or trampoline. Right next to rebound or trampoline is going to be our art and journaling station, led by Miss Sade. And Sade is going to be leading everyone through a mindful prompt. And she's going to be doing a little bit of sharing. There are canvases in there, there is paint, there is our coloring sheets, journaling sheets. Just have at it with your creativity. It's going to be amazing. Next up, right here, we are going to have Michelle leading us in some dance aerobics. Woo! So we will be clearing the chairs, and this area on the front of the divider will be the dance session. And behind the divider, you might have noticed some pickleball nets. And Miss Connie right here is going to be teaching us and having us try out pickleball. So have so much fun. She can have a total of 8 there, unless people want to kind of trade in. And I think that that's the only one that has a definite limit. So after our first session, we're going to be kind of going around, let you know when it's time to switch. We'll have another break. We can go get another snack or some water, and we'll switch to your next activity. We will be coming back all together back here at 12:30 to a few closing announcements. And when you stop in the food area, you'll see some really pretty little, what do they call them? Yeah. Things. Plants, succulents. I was like, what are they called? Little succulent plants that we're going to be doing some giveaways. The first to be picked from the drawing is if you signed up for the newsletter. So sign your email up on that on the front table if you'd like to win a drawing. There'll be others that are chosen as well. With that, are there any questions? Any questions? There are restrooms out front, and also there's one over here as well. So with that, I'm going to send you off. Go have so much fun. We're going to have 25 minutes in each activity that we're doing. Great time.